Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here. I'm going to be reviewing translating words into math. Now, this could be a little bit difficult, so you may need to watch the video several times, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is look at what we have here. It says the product of 20 and t. And basically what we want to do is we want to write that phrase into an algebraic expression. Okay, so this is considered the verbal phrase, and we want to make it into an algebraic expression. Well, the first thing I notice is it says product. So we should now know product means to multiply. So the product of 20 and t is 20t. So this is the verbal phrase, so basically words, and this is the algebraic expression. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so here we have 24 less than a number. So less means to subtract. So I see this, and that means to subtract. And whenever it says a number, that's going to be our variable. That is our unknown. Okay, so this is going to be our unknown, our variable. And you can use any variable. Number starts with an n, so we can use the variable n. So now the one trick, something easy to remember, if you see the word than, circle it, okay? So in order to write the algebraic expression to this verbal phrase, I'm going to start after the word than. So after the word than, what's important that I see? That's my variable, because that's going in for number. So I'm starting with my variable n, and then I'm going to go back to see what else I have. I want to find out what my operation is. So after the word than, I see what's important, write it down. Then I look for my operational sign, okay? It's subtraction, so I'm going to put my subtraction sign. What else is important here? Well, the other thing that is important is the 24, okay? So now I'm just going to put 24. So 24 less than a number, the algebraic expression is n minus 24. The one thing you have to know, order matters, okay? So you know that n minus 24 and 24 minus n would give you two totally different answers. So if you do not have this written correctly, it is going to be wrong because you would get a wrong answer. So if we were then going to solve this and we said n is equal to 3, and we plugged in 3 here, 3 minus 24 is different than what if we had 24, if we had written 24 minus n and we did 24 minus 3, these answers are going to give you, they're going to be different, right? So the order is important. So n minus 24, if you did 24 minus n, that would be considered wrong. Okay, so let's say I had 18 more than a number. So I'm looking for the word than. I see than, I automatically know I'm going to circle that. All right, I'm going to look to see what a number means. I need a variable. Number starts with the letter n, so I'm going to use n. I then want to find out what the operational symbol is. What word tells us there's going to be an operational symbol? So 18 more. Well, more means to add. So I'm going to put addition sign up here because that means to add. And then 18 is also important, okay? So I went through, I identified everything first. Remember, if I have the word than, I am going to start after it. I'm going to look to see what is important after the word than. The first thing I see that's important is my variable n. I'm then going to go back to my operational symbol. I'm going to put a plus sign, and then what else is important? I only have 18 left. So 18 more than a number. N plus 18 is how I would write the algebraic expression. Okay, so here I have 4 times the sum of a number and 2. So first thing I'm looking for, do I see the word than anywhere? I do not. Okay, so I don't have that little clue as to where to start. So that means I'm pretty much starting just from left to right reading the problem. So it says 4 times the sum of a number. So I know times means to multiply, right? So I know I'm going to be multiplying 4 by something. Well, it's telling me to multiply that by the sum of a number. Number is going to be my variable. Let's use n for number, and 2. So we also know that sum means to add. Well, I'm adding, right, the n, the number, and 2. So I'm going to just read from left to right. 4 times, I'm going to use parentheses, okay? 4 times the sum of n and 2. The sum of n and 2 is n plus 2, okay? So 4 times the sum of a number and 2. Now, as you saw, I put the sum of a number and 2 in parentheses. You do not want to do this. So you do not want to write 4 times n plus 2, okay? So it's saying it's the sum of something else. That has to go in parentheses because we are multiplying it by the 4. If we were to solve this in the future, we would get a different answer if it was written this way and written this way. Okay, so 4 times the sum of a number and 2. This has to go inside of parentheses. Now this one here is worded slightly differently than the one before. It says the sum of 4 times a number and 2. All right, so let's identify everything. So our number is going to be n. We're going to use the variable n. We know that sum means to add, right? And we are taking the sum of 4, so we are adding the sum of 4 times a number n and 2. So if I were to go ahead and write this, it would be 4 times a number, which is n, and 2. The sum of 4 times a number and 2. So then I'm adding in 2, okay? So the sum of 4 times a number and 2. So now what I want to do is I don't need this dot here. I can just write it as 4n plus 2. All right, this is a tricky one. So the sum of 4 times a number and 2. All right, and that's what this is saying. This is saying 4 times a number, and then we're adding 2 to it because sum means to add. So we are adding 4 times a number and 2. Okay, it takes a little while to get used to, but once you start doing them, it becomes a little easier. Okay, the next problem I have here says 125 decreased by a number. So I'm going to kind of just start writing from left to right to get my algebraic expression. So 125 decreased means you are subtracting. And by a number, we're going to use a variable n for number. So 125 minus n for this one. All right, here, 359 more than z. Well, I have that word than. So remember, if I have the word than, I want to circle it because I'm going to start writing immediately after. So I'm going to start right after than. I'm starting with a z. I need to go back to what my operational symbol is. Well, I have the word more here, so that means addition. So after my z, I'm going to put in my operational symbol, so z plus, and what else is important? We have the 359, which is important. So 359 more than z is written as z plus 359. Okay, here it says twice a number plus 27. I don't see the word than, so I'm just going to kind of start from left to right. So twice a number n, twice a number plus 27. So I'm going to put in my variable n for number. So twice a number, what does that really mean? That means 2 times that number. So that means 2n, and then continue reading, plus 27. Okay, so twice a number, or twice n, because we are replacing number with a variable, and then we are adding 27. Okay, here we have the product of x and 2 divided by 6. Okay, I do not see the word than, so I'm pretty much going to just start from left to right. So we know that product means to multiply, all right? So the product of x and 2 Now I would write that as 2x. I always put the numeral before the variable with multiplication. I would not put x2. Always it would be the numeral first. So the product of x and 2, which means 2x, and then we are dividing that by 6. So you can do this two different ways. You can use the division sign and 6, or what you're going to see more often is using the fraction bar for division. So you can write it this way, or 2x divided by 6. Okay, you just have to remember that variable comes before, your numeral comes before your variable here. Okay, here we have 10 multiplied by the amount 20 minus w. All right, I don't see the word than, so I'm kind of just going to start from left to right. 20 multiplied by the amount, or 10 multiplied by the amount of 20 minus w. So 10 multiplied by the amount of 20 minus w. This is the tricky part. I'm multiplying the 10 by the amount of 20 minus w. So the 20 minus w has to go in parentheses, all right? Because I don't want to do 10 times 20 minus w, because the amount 20 minus w needs to go within parentheses, because according to order of operations, that would get done first. So we do not want to write it this way, okay? So 10 multiplied by the amount. Amount is kind of a key word. If you see that, most likely the rest of it is going to go inside of parentheses. All right. I tried to give you guys a lot of examples. You will be seeing different examples within the homework. Now, there is also this page that I attached to your homework, and it is kind of a little cheat sheet chart. Just so you know, if the verbal phrase has add 3 to a number plus 3, the sum of a number and 3 more than a number increased by 3, you would do n plus 3. So you do have this chart within the homework, so you can kind of study this, look to see what the verbal phrase is. Remember, the verbal phrase is mostly words. The algebraic phrase is where you have your variables with your numerals. All right, so study this chart so you can kind of see how they went from the verbal phrase to the algebraic phrase. I just want to quickly go over where they give you the algebraic phrase and you have to write the verbal phrase, and then we will be done for today. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here I have the algebraic expression, and I want to write the verbal phrase. So remember, verbal means you're going to have words. So x plus 5, you can write this several different ways. You can say add 5 to a number, right? And in this case, what is the number? So this would be add 5. I'm going to go do the easy one first, actually. So x plus 5, I can say x plus 5. Let's do the easy one first. All right, that's one option. I can say 5 added to x. Okay, and that's where this chart that one chart comes in handy. I could do 5 more than x. I could say 5 more than x. These all mean the same thing. Okay, so x plus 5, remember, this is the algebraic expression. These are the verbal phrases. So x plus 5 could be x plus 5, 5 added to x, 5 more than x. It could be 5 more than a number, all right? In this case, I gave you the x for your number, so you would put x in there, all right? So just remember, when you are doing your verbal phrases, it's mostly words and your variable, okay? That is it for now, and I will talk to you soon.